And so McClellan was in green. Is he okay?
Yeah, he's fine. You know, anytime that they're in green, it's just a little precautionary. They go through all the practice, but just the live stuff, we keep them out of that.
I know we talked the other day. You said Turquez, he's kind of the leader back there, most experienced guy, though he's pretty young.
Yeah.
What kind of camp is he having?
You know, he only started 9 games a year ago, and he's just a young player, but still he's got more experience than any of the other corners that we have. And he really has had a great camp. And in the meeting room in here, he really has taken over that leadership role within the corners. And Cam Curl, likewise, within the safeties.
Usually what time the young guys might hit the wall, what's the key to kind of preventing that or helping through it?
You know, that's a good point right there, and they do. They got to push through. The good part about right now during training camp is to get their minds mentally prepared for what the days are going to be like, and really to help them push through. The older players have to come along and put their arms around them and help encourage them, and they've done a great job of that. You know, the attitude and the mindset's been fantastic with them, and we see them coming here every day with an attitude of working. You know, we get to do this, you know, not as opposed to we have to do it.
Were you happy with the performances at the scrimmage, and what did you want to see?
You know, I really have been. Really what you're looking for is the effort and the guys that can, play when they're tired and strain whenever that's needed. So, and we've seen that throughout camp. Obviously, there's some guys in situations here or there where you wish you had a little bit more, but that's part of camp, where we can teach them and learn from those moments so that when we do see those again during the season, hopefully they'll prevail.
Has McClure worked any nickel at all?
He has, he's been in at, with the inside backers, but we've also slid him out there. You know, that Sam nickel position is very similar. So when we get bigger personnels, we'll have our base defense, which includes the Sam in there, which is where he's working.
Burrito's guys have a lot of knee issues. I think you said you guys are going to be kind of careful with him. How's he doing?
He's had a great camp. You know, he's done a really good job. We've monitored the workload that we've put on it, but he's responded. And the more he responds, we put a little bit more on him and a little bit more on him. And he's done a great job. You know, he's maintained that, longer than he did during spring ball, and he's really come back healthy with that knee. So we're still going to monitor it and make sure that we take care of him, but we also are going to work to get him ready.
You guys haven't done team stuff in a while. When we've been out there, but I guess it's still McClellan and Brown, Bishop and Bush.
Yeah, it's been a rotation. We've worked a lot of different guys within different groups, including Micah Smith out there in that rotation. So, and we're going to continue to mix it up, and work guys on both sides and just put them in some different positions where we see how they respond when they're out there.
You said you guys don't want to have a boundary in the field because the offenses run so fast now. But so has everybody been double training right and left side?
Yeah, we have. So we end up working right side and left side with them again because the offenses go so fast. You don't have time to flip field and boundary all the time. But over the course of practice, we may say, hey, this session, you go work on the opposite sides of where you've been, just to make sure we get work on both sides.
Based on these first 10 practices now, just how good do you feel about the corners?
I feel really good about them. Obviously we have a lot of work to do, but based on where we were a year ago to right now, I feel great about them. But it's not just them; it's how they've gelled within the rest of the secondary. Now tying the front to the back, we've taken the next step in terms of defense. About now, those guys are understanding more that not just what I do, but maybe what are the guys doing around me and how it relates to I play my technique and what I'm doing. So with that, we've had a lot of growth.
Chad said Brown had a pick, I think it was, in the scrimmage. What kind of camp was he?
He could have had 3 right there really in the same drive, and he really has. I'm really proud of Monteric. He's done a great job. He was at safety when we got here and he started. We moved him to corner, and it took him a little bit, but he really grasped it. He really he took the bull by the horns and said, I'm going to be really good at this. He's got a nice long body and long arms and frame. His footwork has really cleaned up over the course of spring ball, and he did a great job of working himself out throughout the summer to making sure he was clean with everything that we're asking him to do. And he's really, come into his own, and I expect a lot of great things from him.
Say clean, you mean technique?
Yes, clean with his fundamentals and his technique.
I don't know if he might have been eating better.
Oh, no, he's such a lean body anyways right there. That's something that maybe Whitney's not as concerned about his body mass, yeah.
I guess him and Turquez are roommates. Do you think that helps?
I do, because when they go home, this is what they talk about. They watch video together, and we talk about that in the meeting room, that those guys really, when they come off to the side, they're communicating with each other. What did you see on your side? What did we see on my side? How would we handle that? Things of that nature. So that's really good that guys like that, they do live together, and they're doing this all day long.
Now, Chiefs talked about wanting to increase takeaways.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's realistic to average 3 a game, but he said if you guys could do that, you're going to be pretty good.
Well, we're going for it, you know, that's our goal and that's what we're striving for. So, and we try to emphasize that every day in practice. We do a takeaway circuit. We incorporate those into our individual drills where we want to always focus on taking the ball away in everything that we do.
Any big takeaways today?
No, none that was notable today. We had some opportunities and balls were in the air. We didn't come down with any today.
You talked about culture when you were opening remarks. What have you seen from that, just in terms of the second year?
Well, just the buy-in, the general buy-in of everyone on the team, and obviously the leadership from our older players about bringing the younger players along. So everything that we're doing has everything to do with our culture. So we're seeing that buy-in. Everyone, you know, you don't see guys on the list, you know, like we've had before. So the guys, that just tells you when you're not having to spend as much time worrying about those things, you know everybody's bought in with what we're doing on the field.
What do you like from Devin Bush, though?
You know, Devin has had a really solid camp. He's going to continue to progress. And I have to remind myself, he really is a true freshman. You know, he was here in the spring, so we got to see him and work with him throughout the spring. But he really is a true freshman, and the more that we put on him, he's responded to it. So he's done a great job. But we're trying to just bring him along slowly. You know, we're conscientious of that with our progression with the younger players, and then also straining them at the same time, and kind of how much can they handle, and then continuing to just stack that on top of it. But he's done a great job continuing to go.
About Brooks, is he in the same kind of boat, bringing him along, or you got to
Yeah.
advance him faster?
No, he's just like Devin, those guys as young players, but we're here in the spring, so we kind of expect a little bit more of them in certain areas, but, you know, we're straining him as well, you know, and we want to continue to add as much as we can add and keep them in some adverse situations and see how they respond, because then you know what they might do on a Saturday. But both of those guys are sharp, they're smart, they understand the game, and hopefully that'll help us have an impact on Saturdays.
How big was it you had those freshmen?
He's been doing great. You know, I'm really happy with Day. You know, yesterday was his birthday, and he's just 19 years old. So he came out and he had a great practice. But he, of all of the guys right there, you know, I think he could really be special. You know, as you watch him and his development and growth, especially from when we got here to right now. I mean, it's really night and day. With his growth. So, you know, I'm real excited about him and just continuing to stack good days on top of good days with Day and see where it goes.
Yeah, you had some of those young true freshmen in spring ball, and looking back on it, how big a plus was that?
It's a huge plus. I always say that it is, you know, even more so from a standpoint of that once they're here, they've adjusted to the college life now, because a lot of these freshmen who just got here in the summer, during the month of August, it's really just training camp and it's all football for them. Once school starts for them, then they've got to balance the school schedule with everything else that we're doing. So sometimes that transition, you know, is easier for some players and more difficult for others. So the guys that are here in the spring, they've already had time to go through that adjustment. So I think that is an advantage for them.